If you think you can just show up and smile and be like, oh, I'm really there for you, and like I'm gonna open my heart to you, and that's gonna make her feel special, that might work once. But if you're looking up this thing on YouTube, if you're searching this kind of thing, it ain't working anymore, is it? Now, I am going to tell you how you can make your wife feel special. It's a much deeper strategy, and it's going to make her feel special, and it's always also going to make you stronger and a better man in her eyes. Not that it matters. Before I get into it, if you're a man and you're married and you want more out of your marriage, then subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that jazz. And if you are a man and you're married, let us know how long you've been married. Put it in the comments below. How long have you been married? Me, I'm about to hit 15 years. So 14 years, yeah. 14 and a half. 14 and 3/4. So, and my marriage has been through a lot of ups and downs. One major, no, I guess it was like 2 or 3 major downs. And it was like a crypto crash, right? It was like boom, and then boom, and then boom. And so a lot of what I talk about is stuff that I learned on my journey to make my marriage better, healthier, happier, and in all different ways. And now it's really good. You know, we have a daughter who didn't exist and wouldn't exist if I didn't figure it out. And yeah, it's been a while since I made a video. So you might notice the background's different, where this is coming to you from France, from a small sheep farming area of France. My wife is a sheep farmer's daughter. Yes. So, how do you make your wife feel special? One, the best way to make her feel special is to stop trying to make her feel special. And the reason, what I mean is, like, if you're trying to make her feel special, then that means she's kind of like in the spotlight of your awareness. She's in the spotlight of your intention, and you are making her the center of your life. You know, that might be in a small instant, or it might be globally. And the more global that is, the more global that you are making your wife the center of your life, the more danger you're in for having your marriage blow up, because you've screwed up the attraction mechanism. So the best way to make your wife feel special is to increase your own value, is to become a more valuable man, a better man. And what that means, a couple different things. And I'm going to go into a kind of a grid about how to think about this. But if you think about, like, if you're a valuable man, your time and your attention is a scarce resource. So you want to make your wife feel special, then when you give her time and attention, in her mind she must think, wow, he's giving me time and attention. I know he's got this and that and the other thing to be doing, but instead he's doing it with me. But if you go to work 9 to 5 and then you come home and every night you're like staring at her and trying to give her attention, why would she feel special? She's not getting access to anything that's scarce. It's common. It happens all the time. So you make your wife feel special because you're giving her something of value. And if your time and attention is available to her at her own beck and call, whenever she wants it, she gets it, she's not going to feel special about that. Why should she? Because your time and attention, you've made your time and attention a common resource. And things that are special are rare. Things that are special are not something that's just given out like candy on Halloween. So in order to make your wife feel special, and I'm going to get into it in sort of emotions and how you can do that with your emotional state in just 1 second. But how you make your wife feel special is that you increase your own value, you expand your circle in your world, meaning that you're doing more stuff out of the house. You have your own hobbies, you have your own things that are happening outside the house, and then you give your wife attention Of course, you have to make time to meet her emotional needs and all that. But then you also show up and give her the attention that she wants at random times. You surprise her with your time and attention. And because you're surprising her with your time and attention, and it's not something that's available all the time, she's going to feel special. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that people, they want to make their wife feel special, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a noble desire. But if you're doing it, and if you think you can just show up and smile and be like, oh, I'm really there for you, and like I'm going to open my heart to you, and that's going to make her feel special, that might work once. But if you're looking up this thing on YouTube, if you're searching this kind of thing, it ain't working anymore, is it? Okay, so what about feelings? Like how can you use your feelings to show your wife that she's special? Now this is in the Married Man Survival Guide, and you can get that on Amazon. It's a book I wrote, and it's a survival guide for men who are married. It talks about the 9 biggest hazards in the marriage, including the dreaded dead bedroom. And so, in terms of what you share with your wife, there's a way that you can use your emotional state to make your wife feel special. And if you have a look at this grid, you can see these are the basic categories of emotions, right? You have acute and chronic, and then you have positive and negative. And so acute means something that's happening in the short term. It's different from the status quo, from the normal. And then chronic is kind of what the status quo and the normal are. And so you can have chronic positive states, and you can have chronic negative states. And here's the thing about emotional states. There's 5 basic emotions, and everything else is a derivative of those. And those are anger, sadness, fear, joy, and disgust. And if you're paying attention, you know that out of those 5 feelings, only one of them is positive. And that's because your human nervous system has not evolved to keep you happy. It's evolved to keep you alive. And those things are different goals. So what do you do? So if you look at this grid, then you can see that you have to. What is your chronic state? Is your normal status quo? Are you generally unhappy about things or happy about things? You know, if you have chronic depression or anxiety, something like that, then by all means seek professional help. Seek professional help. Or do you have like chronic positive feelings? Are you just in a good mood a lot? And that's kind of like your normal. That's what you're shooting for, right? You want to cultivate feelings of happiness so that you can enjoy your life, right? I mean, what else? Why wouldn't you want to enjoy your life? But that if you have that chronic state, you're going to enjoy your life more, basically. But that you can't try to make that happen. You don't get to chronic happiness or chronic joy by trying to get to chronic happiness or chronic joy. You get to chronic joy and chronic happiness by developing yourself, by setting goals and pursuing them and achieving them, and setting more goals and pursuing them and achieving them. That's how you get to chronic joy. And so the way that you make your wife feel special is that you handle your shit. Meaning if you have chronic negative feelings, depression, anxiety, there's no shame in that. There's nothing that you should be ashamed about in terms of that, but you need to find professional help because your wife's not a therapist. And if she's a therapist, she shouldn't be your therapist. So you need help with that. And so that means you don't really share those kind of feelings with your wife. Because if you share those things with your wife, your chronic negative feelings, that's going to make your marriage toxic. So she can help you get help, but she can't help you. And then if you have chronic negative, like if your boss is a jerk, do not share that with your wife either. You don't share that with your wife. And you don't share that with your wife because, that's on you. You deal with that. If your boss was a jerk today, then you don't need to come home to your wife and complain about it. You don't. You need to learn how to process that stuff on your own. And I recommend journaling for that. I don't even recommend like going to your buddies and having a vent session. You know, I don't get that. And I don't get that because if you start having a vent session, then you're going to more likely to have a vent session, right? If you complain, you're more likely to complain more later. That's how your brain works. And so you want to end up where you have chronic positive feelings, right? But that's not how you make your wife feel special either. That's just you showing up, and that's you enjoying your life. So how you should make your wife feel special is that when those acute positive things happen, you get a raise at work, or you find a briefcase full of money, or whatever it might be, that positive thing is that you go to your wife first, is that you reserve the sharing of that joy with her. Does that make sense? And by being strategic that way and going about it and thinking about it that way and applying it, she will feel special because you're going to be the kind of guy who's positive throughout the day and he's just enjoying his life. He's going about doing his stuff. And then she gets to be the one who you choose to share your joy with. That's how you make her feel special. You've cultivated your value, you've leveled up as a man, and then when something good and joyful happens to you, you share it with her. And you choose her first because she's your wife, and then she feels special. Boom. All right, any questions, comments, or concerns about that, leave them in the comments below, and I'm happy to help you out as best that I can. If you subscribe, bell icon, all that, and if you are on Facebook, go to the marriedmancave.com, and there's a Facebook group there. Lots of guys from all over the world talking shop about being a man and being married. Ciao.